This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Zeratul, we have Harassment. And player 2, playing Nova, we have Cerebral Melt. It's an interesting name. Let's have a look at the masteries while we get set up. We have Zeratul, it's gone for the Zeratul attack speed, the artifact spawn mastery, as well as the Legion cost reduction mastery, so pretty much the optimal picks here. For Nova, we have a 17-7 split into the nuke and decoy cooldown reduction, and a 7-point into the airstrike cost reduction. This is a very interesting splits all the way through actually over here. We have primary ability, unit attack speed, there's again a little bit of a split here. We have the Nova energy regeneration and the unit HP regen mastery here. Again, there's some very weird splits. Zeratul has already started to attack Amon and is going to be clearing out their expansion so that they can put down their nexus and build up their economy in the process. Nova is putting down already an engineering bay and a barracks have come down, and I think that might be because Nova wants to do a biocentric build, I'm not really sure. But the Zorai Legion now gets routed towards their ally's base just to try and deal a little bit of damage and help their ally out, while Nova is getting some upgrades here. We have 3 SCVs that are queued up into Nova's command center, and we have both the upgrades queued up here for Nova. So this is the... I can't even pronounce that word. Caduceus reactor? It's a Nova energy, it's a Nova HP regen one, and it's Nova's detection. We now have a factory also coming down for Nova, so Nova might be actually trying to rush into a mech build, but she does have an engineering bay down, so I'm not really sure what the plan is here for Nova. We'll see what happens throughout the course of this mission. Nova is still 60 seconds away from being spawned, so is Zeratul. So it's going to be a little bit quiet before the interesting stuff happens. You can see Zeratul has already started to build his probes, and it's going to be long distance mining from this expansion. Over here we do have, I think, an engineering bay and a supply depot has survived the onslaught of Zeratul's legions, but it's not really too big of a deal. As soon as Nova comes out, she'll be able to clean that out without any problems as well. The other option is she can actually use a bunch of marines. She's floating a few minerals, so she could drop the 600 minerals and just use that to start clearing, but I do not know what the plan is. Okay, so Nova is going to like build her command center right next to the engineering bay, and as soon as Nova comes out, I think the plan is, I really hope the plan is to just clear that out. And Zeratul has already looked for his first artifact fragment. The first attack wave has spawned, and Zeratul is already in position. Very nice swipey move here. Again, I cannot remember what it's called. Shadowcleave? Is it Shadowcleave? I'll call it swipey move. Uses a swipey move to clear out the enemy attack wave here, picks up the artifact fragment. I'm assuming he picked up the artifact fragment in that location. There we go, he's picked up the artifact fragment right now, and I thought he was going to help his ally, but he is not going to do so. Nova, on the other hand, is just chilling on this side. And now she decides to use her sniper rifle to try and take out these buildings, and not even a sabotage drone. A sabotage drone is really good for taking out structures because it deals a lot of damage, but nope, Nova is going to be engineering base lapping the structures, I guess. Zeratul just causing absolute havoc among Amon's army, just stabbing marine after marine and killing them off. Nova is attacking this supply depot. So please float the command center over. Please float the command center over and get into position. We'll see what happens with that command center. Yes, okay. The command center is moved. We are saved. We are saved. Where is Nova? I actually lost Nova. I don't know where she went. There's a bunch of stalkers on here. Okay, Nova is sitting right next to Orana. She's ready to defend Orana at all costs. And now we have the first of several harass waves throughout the course of this mission that's coming up. But Zeratul, already ready, uses the swipey move to take out that harass wave. And Nova is chilling right now. All fine and safe right underneath Orana here. Orana's transport, to be more precise. There's now another attack wave coming up. I don't know if Zeratul will be able to get into position in time. Of course he's going to get into position in time because Zeratul is extremely OP. And again, another swipey move takes out that harass wave. And now Zeratul is getting ready to pick up his next artifact fragment. Nova still chilling on this side. What is Nova building? Okay, so Nova is getting a bunch of research done. Now there's a harass wave right next to Nova. But Nova is in snipe mode again, but Zeratul's swipey move saves Nova. And yeah, let's have a look at the research that's coming up here. So we have the mech upgrades and we have the bio upgrades coming up. But what units does Nova have? Okay, she's just added 4 Marines into the mix right next to the suppression tower that ends up moving them out of the way. Still using the snipe mode to try and deal with this. Marines are slowly kiting this away and reducing the amount of damage and preventing the amount of damage that they are taking. So that is kind of good. But Nova still auto-attacking with the sniper rifle. Usually you want to either use your sabotage drones. If you're not going to use your sabotage drones, these shotguns are a little bit better because you do end up getting a little bit of splash damage. And probably not on the tower. Nova's not really very good for dealing with the tower, but at least dealing with attack waves, getting that splash damage is very, very useful. Marines dodging back and forth, and eventually they will be able to whittle this tower down. Orana's transport is getting a little bit too close to the magical, I think 3000 HP. So she heals about 5000 HP every single terminal she purifies, so you have a little bit of a buffer zone before she starts to take quote-unquote permanent damage. And now Nova has added a bunch of siege tanks, and the enemy composition here, raiding party, not really a bad idea to have siege tanks, especially if you were going for the Spire Mines upgrade, which it looks like Nova has actually obtained. So she's gotten the Spire Mines upgrade, she's gotten the graduating range upgrade as well, which increases the range of the siege tanks as they remain in siege mode. Is really good. But what's happening here is we have a bunch of upgrades that are queued up on the engineering bay. So the engineering bay has queued up the infantry armor upgrade as well, which I guess is okay when you're dealing with a bio composition. But again, Nova is still in snipe mode. She has not switched out, and this army is going to start attacking those Marines, and one of those Marines already end up getting picked off. And Amon will focus fire down some of these units. It just turns out that these units they did end up getting killed off, but not without some casualties over here. So we have already 1 Marine has been lost, but Amon will focus fire down your units if you're not paying attention, so you have to micro them back as well to just make sure they are alive. And Zertul's army is moving towards the bonus objective area, I believe, and Nova has chosen to siege up her siege tanks right outside the terminal that Orana has just completed, and now Nova is adding a bunch of Goliaths. But now Orana is not going to be waiting for Nova before she starts moving towards the next security terminal, and Zertul has ended up cleaning out this objective area, and Orana is making her way towards security terminal number 3. And you might ask, no, this is security terminal number 2. No, security terminal number 1 is here. This is number 1, that is number 2, and that is number 3. So yeah, a lot of people don't really consider the first one to be security terminal number 1, but that's how it's listed in the editor, and that's usually how I tend to refer to it. But now we have an attack wave that is moving towards Nova's base, and Nova is trying to escort Orana like a good sniper and a good defending commander. But this might be a problem because there is an attack wave that is coming up, and it is just reaching the choke point right now. Nova has not even sieged up her siege tank, so as soon as the harass waves start to spawn, that might be a bit of a problem. And this harass wave is now going to start attacking Nova's base. And there is an SCV that has been tasked to repair and protect the base from the damage that Amon's army is dealing with, but that SCV unfortunately has gotten killed in the line of duty. And there are a few more stalkers as well here that end up getting caught out by Amon, and those stalkers may actually end up saving Nova's base here just because they have moved out of the way. But now Nova is getting double attack from both sides. She's getting flanked. There is an emergency defensive drone that gets dropped down, a second emergency defensive drone that gets dropped. And did she lose anything here? Yes, she did lose a siege tank as a result, and also the command center does end up going down finally to the onslaught of damage that Amon's army was able to deal. And now we have the first suppression tower that has spawned, but not before the next attack wave has started to move towards Orana's transport. Again, this Marine is not moving out of the way, and he just gets completely roasted by the suppression tower. There is a stun lock onto this battlecruiser that keeps it alive. The siege tank is just trying to get out of the way here to prevent the damage that this thing does, and it does a lot of damage. If you're not paying attention, it will catch you out and take you out. And you can see here that siege tank is pretty much dead right now and gets hit by the suppression tower. And now the next suppression tower has started to spawn. Zertul is already in position, and he'll end up cleaning out the rest of the enemy forces. So that's the suppression tower. First suppression tower down. Second suppression tower is pretty much also going to get cleaned up. Nova, at the moment, has lost a total of 3 Marines and 2 siege tanks, which really sucks. So if you actually do the extra stats here, you can see that Nova has already lost 2,237 minerals worth of stuff. I don't know where these 7 minerals, before anyone asks me, I do not know where the 7 minerals comes from, but that is what the game says has been lost, and that is what I shall report. If there are any problems, please direct your anger and your frustrations and your complaints towards Blizzard Entertainment. for this channel is not sponsored by Blizzard Entertainment, at least not yet. If there's any Blizzard employees that want to sponsor this channel, please do let me know. Hashtag sellout. So Nova, all in all, seems to be okay. Has 2 Goliaths, 2 more siege tanks have been added to the mix, and we also have a bunch of Marauders here. And now there is another harass wave that is coming up to try and face Oriana's transport. These siege tanks, again, not sieged up, so she's not going to get the advantage of the graduating range, and she's also not going to have the Spire Mines. She's not using the Spire Mines here, and this wave has actually moved straight past Nova, which is actually kind of weird. I never thought the attack wave would do that, but Zeratul does end up intercepting this attack wave, and Nova is moving back. And there's also a bunch of SCVs that have decided to check Nova out. I'm not really sure why, but they're moving with Nova. Okay, they want to join in on the fight. They're like, yeah, we want some blood. We lost our pretty shiny command center, and now Nova is actually building a lot of static defense here. So we have a bunch of railgun turrets and missile turrets as well. The thing is, Nova's static defense is not very good. The railgun turrets are okay, I guess, but if you're dealing with that kind of composition, your turrets are not really like, turrets do not stop attack waves. I think a lot of people think that turrets can be used to stop attack waves. Your turrets cannot really stop attack waves unless your turrets are Swan and you have a bunch of siege tanks behind them. So these things are just only going to deter an attack wave before it wrecks your face. So unless you are able to respond to the attack wave, you really cannot use turrets as a defensive solution, at least not on brutal difficulty. You can see Nova is flowing about 3,000 minerals right now. So, but she has gotten all the upgrades that she needs here, and there are a little bit of thump of the Banshees that are dealing a lot of damage to Zeratul's army, but he ends up running next to Nova, and Nova's natural detection is going to be used to help Zeratul clear the attack wave. Now, there is going to be an actual full-fledged attack wave that will be moving towards the commander's bases, and I'm not sure who is going to be dealing with it. It looks like Zeratul is torn between, do I want to deal with this attack wave or do I want to try and protect Oriana's transport? Both are kind of mission critical things, but I do not think Zeratul wants to deal with this attack wave just yet. This attack wave is going to be moving towards these players' bases, and it might be a bit of a problem. Zeratul has to jump in and uses his swipey move again to try and take out. He is focused down the siege tank, and Nova, with her army of ghosts now that have been added to the mix, are going to go and deal with the first suppression tower spawn. So the first suppression tower has been cleaned up, and there is a small harass wave that ends up spawning as well, that ends up getting cleaned up by Zeratul. And now Nova will have to try and deal with the next suppression tower spawn, which will be up here in this location. Zeratul is just going to go ahead and he's just going to start clearing out whatever he can, start to push into these enemy camps, take out whatever defenders are there, a little bit of damage onto the stalkers, and now we have a harass wave that is coming up, and Nova is just, seems to be very interested in dealing with the bonus objective here, which has not even spawned, and his battlecruiser does end up getting stun locked, and we have a nuke that gets dropped, but it has pretty much missed out on everything there. There's a defensive drone, there's a focus fire down on Nova, but that defensive drone does end up keeping her alive, and Oriana's transport is starting to take a lot of damage. Siege tanks have sieged up, Marines now have stim. The stim timing does increase their damage output a lot, and now we have an Avatar of Essence that gets dropped as an emergency savior for Oriana's transport. Oriana is sitting at 2000 HP right now, and there is a Cyclone as well that is starting to focus down Oriana's transport. Oriana's transport is getting so dangerously low, 1200 HP left on Oriana's transport, and this is not the end. Oriana is getting hit by the suppression tower, which has been ignored by Nova and Zeratul, and this is going to be a problem because the suppression tower is going to start rapid firing its attack. You can see already it's starting to rapid fire, and Oriana's transport is sitting at about 500 HP, 300 HP left on Oriana's transport, and this is also not the last suppression tower. There's still one more suppression tower that will be spawning. There is another attack here from the suppression tower, and that ends up hitting and picking off one of the Goliaths, and Nova is going to try and focus down. This Oriana's transport is sitting at about 86 HP right now. If as much as a SCV just breathes on the transport, this transport is going to explode in tiny little bits. And now there's going to be one last suppression tower spawn that will be spawning over here, and Nova, again, a little bit out of position, does not seem to be aware of the patterns, but Zeratul is already in position, and he cannot let the suppression tower deal any damage to Oriana's transport, or it is going to be GG. So he ends up picking off the suppression tower as quickly as possible before Nova even gets into position. Nova so far has lost 4 Marines, 2 siege tanks, 1 Goliath, apparently 1 Ghost as well. I think that Ghost got picked off from the second suppression tower, I'm gonna use this Laser Beam of Doom ability. Few medevacs here that are left over. Now Uranus Transport is going to be healing a little bit, and you'll see that it'll be healing about 5000 HP before moving on to the next security terminal. Zeratul now uses his Zorai Legion, and he has to try and push into this side. The Cyclone being a little bit annoying, kiting some of these units back, and there's a Hybrid Dominator as well that uses a Plasma Blast right on top of one of the Void Rays that have been spawned by Zeratul. You see there's another Seeker Missile here, blink back, trying to keep these Stalkers alive, and Nova wants to go and deal with a bonus objective, because bonus objectives are totally worth the 2000 experience that they provide. If you do not know, if you do not hear the hint of sarcasm in my voice, I will mention that I'm being extremely sarcastic. Bonus objectives are not worth it unless you are well ahead of the game, and Nova is clearly not. Bonus objective has not spawned yet, so Nova is still not going to be dealing with that. She wants to try and help her ally out, which is a good thing, but I think at that point, no, does she want to help her ally out? No, she just basically wants to sit in this location over here and wait for her ally to clear whatever's left. Now she's pushing up into this area, which will be fine, but it is just a little bit too late. Nova wants to try and push in, but there are a bunch of battlecruisers, and the battlecruisers will be more than happy to deal damage. And again, the Griffin airstrike actually went right in between the two battlecruisers, so these things are just going to start dealing so much damage to Nova's army. Nova decides to sit her army right in the middle of the liberation zones, and these liberators are going to be dealing an insane amount of damage, and your defensive drones are not going to keep them alive. Nova goes down, 2 siege tanks goes down, and that last siege tank as well ends up getting picked off, and that Raven as well, and that one Marauder also ends up getting poked a little bit, and that Raven may end up also getting picked off. In total, this is just so much carnage. 4 siege tanks have gone down, 1 Nova, 4 ghosts, 2 siege tanks, or 2 sieged up siege tanks, and 4 unsieged. Yeah, so that's like basically 6 siege tanks there, and we have also 7 Marauders that have been killed, and Nova will have to try and remax her army as quickly as possible to try and deal with the onslaught that's coming up. There is now a suppression tower that has spawned. Zeratul uses his Zorai Legion to try and deal a little bit of damage to the Harass Wave. This Harass Wave is not going to be enough, and Nova is going to get her army shelled a little bit, but Nova's army is reasonably decent. Now she wants to try and push into this side. There's an Avatar of Essence that comes up at just the perfect time, and that Avatar will end up devolving a good chunk of Amon's units here. But again, Nova's army is just taking a hammering over here. That one Marauder also ends up getting picked off by Amon's Marauders, and now there's another suppression tower spawn. And let's have a look at the resources lost. There's a total of 12,000 resources lost by Nova. Nova is losing so many resources as a result of her army, and one of the problems with Nova is she cannot actually remax her army, and she has chosen to tactical airlift her way right into the middle here, into the sieged up siege tanks, and her army is just getting completely shredded by Amon's army, and that was a reasonably good airstrike, but at what cost? Nova has pretty much nothing left. A total of 9 Marines, 8 Marauders, 6 Goliaths have gone down, and 8 siege tanks have been killed off by Amon's army. And Nova doesn't have the luxury of being able to remax her army just because she's flowing a lot of minerals. Nova has to keep her army alive because her army is based on cooldowns, on charge cooldowns. So having an army of 4 Marines, and well, there are 5 Marines and like 4 Ghosts, that's not going to deal damage to a suppression tower. So let's see what the plan is. Does Nova want to try and push into this last one? Nova can't really do anything about this. She doesn't want to send her Raven in there, but that Raven might not be too long for this world because they will get focus fired down by the suppression tower, as well as, again, Nova just walks right into that skill there, and Zeratul has ended up clearing out these units, but again, there's going to be a little bit more damage, and now Nova decides to use a nuke right at the end, just after the enemy units have been killed off. And now there's another attack wave that has spawned, or a harass wave, but again, this harass wave is going to be cleaned up. Zeratul is already positioned, uses a swiping move, and clearing out that. And Nova still trying to deal damage to the suppression tower. Does end up getting clipped again a little bit by some of the abilities there, but the suppression tower will end up going down. And I don't know if that is the last attack wave. That might have been the last attack wave, but there might be one more. I'm not really sure. The timings are a little bit off right now in this mission, because usually I do not let the suppression towers deal too much damage to run and delay the mission. Because again, the longer the mission lasts, the higher the chance that something is going to happen that will make you lose the game. So finally, Zeratul is going to clean up whatever's left of Amon's base. And that's pretty much Amon wiped completely off the map, and Nova has lost a lot of units. She has lost a lot of good men, but finally, Uranus Transport is safe, and that is GG.